I really like creating pieces that mean things to me, and to be able to visually interpret some of my feelings and my ideas and appreciation into something is a very unique thing, I think, that artists can do. It makes me really happy to have something like that. My name is Alex Friedman, and I'm a tapestry weaver. I was born in San Francisco, and I was raised basically in the city. And I had two brothers, and we climbed trees and ran through the grasses and built forts and spent a lot of time outdoors. We didn't have a television. And I've always been interested in nature. It's just endlessly interesting. And my mother was a scientist, so the powers of observation have always been important to me, to be able to look and study and learn. When I finished university, I was very interested in architecture, and I did get a job with an architect for about 3 years. And I realized, while architecture is really interesting, it's a very difficult profession because there's lots of compromise. So someone suggested I take a weaving course, and I signed up at the Y, and I fell in love with weaving at that point, and that's been my history ever since. There are a number of painters that I find really interesting, and then there's a number of tapestry artists who have inspired me. There's a local man who's no longer living, Mark Adams, who does tapestries based on the old French tradition. I'm also very interested in Egon Schiele, who is another artist I like very much. Nature also, in terms of just patterns of water on sand or wind on sand. Tree bark is really interesting to me, and I've done a bunch of designs with that in mind. I find color. Often when I'm working on a piece, for example, this blue one behind me, I know the next one I want to do is going to be yellow. This one's about atmospheric river. I've always loved the term atmospheric river. It's so evocative. When I went to look it up, it turns out to be just vapors, so not very interesting visually. But I went back to this idea because I just like the idea of water rushing. There's always been a long history of tapestry being a craft, and it's not art. And I think that line has finally been broken, and we care just as much about fine art as anybody else. The design aspects are including all the art and value, the color values, the line, the composition, and it's a little of everything. Sometimes I think it's even better than a painting. You have to plan the whole thing out ahead of time, because it's like building a building. It's one line on top of the other. It keeps me very busy, I have to say.